because those are a thing.
Did you like the live action or the
I've still never seen the
original?
live action one.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
It's a travesty.
Yeah, someday I'll watch it. I don't know. I don't watch many of the live action anime films.
They're not
All right,
good.
all right,
You're not
sorry.
missing out.
Anime. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now I guess we could do Ian's intro here. He kind of took over the beginning.
Oh, is this a dry start? Is this a dry start?
He's pushing shifters and buttons in the background, you know. I'm gonna give you a martial roar. Rah!
Is that a card? What is that?
It's a mini amplifier. It sounds as bad as you think it would. But it's on my desk,
Reverb.
Yeah.
Reverb up the butt.
Actually, no. I don't even think it. Maybe this one doesn't have a reverb. It doesn't matter whether it does or it doesn't. It sounds absolute pants.
Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op.
Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show, and I am Ian.
And I am Dave.
And that's Jared, and that's Quentin. Quentin's out of focus. Quentin's out of focus because he's always out of focus.
He's always out of focus. You gotta turn the autofocus off, dude.
I think if he focused, the world would end. You know.
Please do me a favor and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word, no hyphen. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, Stitcher. Anywhere podcasts are sold, you can find this video game podcast. This is episode, I believe, 249, guys.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Man, it's been a while, gentlemen.
200.
Yeah, that's a couple episodes.
Quentin is new. He's the new virgin on the block. Not really a virgin because we've obviously done some episodes with him, but like with Dave for a long time and with Jared since the beginning. We've been doing this, Jared, for a very long fucking time.
Yeah, we have. I enjoy it. I still enjoy it.
It's fun to just sit here and shoot the shit with your friends about video games.
It's just crap. It's just crap we talk about anyways on like random conversations. It's condensed into an hour.
I want to thank all of you guys for joining me here on the couch tonight. Let's go. Whoop. Man, where do we even start? I'm so hyped for this episode for some reason, and I don't even know what we're gonna fucking talk about.
We had no conversations prior.
I think what we're gonna do, you know what? Before we get into what we've been playing in the beat list, we should talk about a little bit about the fact that fucking Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The news of all newses.
How many billions of dollars was that?
68.71 billion dollars.
Which is nothing to Microsoft because they're like $22 trillion as a company. They can buy literally everything on the market right now and not even be at a deficit.
Yeah, but you want to think about that shit for a second. So the last big acquisition gaming wise was 2K bought Zynga for $12.1 billion or whatever it was. That $12.1 billion is more than Disney spent on Star Wars for $4 billion.
That's wild.
And Marvel at like $4 billion. So those two franchises were less then Zynga, a mobile platform. A mobile fucking platform for 12 million or 12 billion. And then fucking Activision Blizzard for 68.71 billion.
And I think the other interesting thing is like Activision Blizzard. They're like one of the few like OGs that go all the way back to the dawn of this. I mean, Activision was massive on the 2600, and
I remember playing Blizzard games on my Super Nintendo.
yeah, and then Blizzard they brought Blizzard in, and it was like,
well, no. So it was Blizzard and Activision were separate. What was?
Yeah,
I forget the conglomerate. They were the ones that were going after Ubisoft a couple years back. So that conglomerate had purchased Activision and Blizzard, put them together, and then got rid of them.
Wasn't it BMG Music Group?
No, not BMG. It's like some other. It's whatever conglomerate was going after Ubisoft a couple years back. You guys, I don't want to deal with it right now.
Like
you guys
ZeniMax or something.
Not ZeniMax. That's Bethesda.
Yeah.
You're thinking Skinemax, but
it was. Yeah, they were harassing Ubisoft for quite a while.
Yeah, so they were the ones that had put in Activision Blizzard together, because those originally back when we were kids, they weren't together.
No, they
haven't
been together that long.
Different
exactly
strands of the market. Yeah.
So this company had put them together and then gotten rid of them, and then so they've been together forever. This weird.
You know what's funny as well is, to be quite honest, if they weren't such a fuck up of a company, they probably would be worth
way more.
Way more. Yeah.
Activision Blizzard's joined in 2008.
$70 billion is a lot of money to be worth, man.
It is a lot of money, but by the same
I'm
token,
pretty sure Microsoft bought Bethesda for not $70 billion.
Yes, but by the same token, all the sexual harassment and all the rest of it meant that the
this is the reason
value is lower than it probably would be if they were a well-run company and didn't have an a-hole as a CEO.
My understanding is because of all that is why Microsoft reached out.
Yep.
And that EA was also in the talks to buy Activision Blizzard.
Oh, and back in the day, that was Vivendi.
Yeah, Vivendi, thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like a French version of BMG, weren't they? Well, they were one of these. Because back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was like, let's put all the media into one. We'll have like a company that makes film, TV, video games, and that's how it's going to be.
And it is how it's going to be, because that's what's happening.
One corporation rule us all.
That's what's happening right now.
They were just a little ahead of the times.
And they lost. They shouldn't have got rid of Activision Blizzard. So the understanding is that Microsoft, the transaction of this sale will complete in 2023. At that point, Bobby Kotick, the awful scumbag douche overlord, will step down. And then hopefully Microsoft can oversee a better work environment. Will that happen in the Well, you know what's funny? It's not the Call of Duty studios that are the problem. It's the all-encompassing, wonderfully inclusive Blizzard studio. Is that the Blizzard is the toxic environment, not Call of Duty. Isn't that the weird thing of all of this? That is the weird thing to me.
The weirdest thing to me is that nobody's talking about that this is not final, and many of the terms can change quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll finalize.
Isn't it funny how the one known for its most toxic community is not the one that's the most toxic on the developer side?
Oh, Jared, I mean that's one thing, but when Disney bought Fox, it was a year out. I mean that's how all because
it takes a while. There's a lot of
there's a lot of legal bullshit you got to go through and make sure, whatever. But overall, what do you think of this happening? Quentin, let's start with you. What do you think? I want to know what you think.
Okay, as a newer kid on the block, right?
What do you think of this?
I specifically, I know mainly Blizzard from WoW, right? Because I'm an MMO player. But I have played Warcraft 3. I've played a little bit of StarCraft 2, and it pains me to see what happens with the company. But I was expecting it to be like Tencent. Unironically,
okay.
I was thinking Tencent was going to buy the company and bail them out. because Tencent has been buying a bunch of studios and
100%,
owns stuff like
100%,
Epic
yeah.
Games, Riot, and we know how bad Riot is.
Not
and
Epic. They have 10% share.
parts of Epic. Parts of Epic.
Yeah,
They have parts of lots of companies.
Right.
Yeah.
But they have full ownership of stuff like Riot, which is full online gaming, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of Blizzard stuff is fully online. And if they can get that power behind other studios that are under their thing, I was expecting something like that. But it makes a lot of sense for Microsoft to go into something like this, because the second this happens, either Battle.net might get diffused in 2023, or
goodness.
it's all going to be on Game Pass.
I think it will be all in
I'm-
Game Pass.
Yeah.
I'm really curious what Game Pass is going to look like as this gets a little farther in the program of the lawyering. If they're going to jump the ship early, like they did with the Bethesda stuff, they put a lot of that stuff on the Game Pass before all the deals were final. So it could happen sooner than later.
Keep going, Jared. What else do you think about this transaction?
It's interesting because I mean they've already said stuff about Call of Duty, which I'm not a huge fan of Call of Duty, but they're like, yeah, we're gonna keep it on PlayStation, which a lot of people are trying to decode that phrase from Microsoft because they think, oh, maybe it'll be streaming, maybe it'll be this, maybe it'll be that, but I don't think they're just gonna say you can only play it this way. I think it's still gonna be published to multiple consoles and PC and all that stuff. So I mean, that's such a huge property every single year. And they probably see currently even that most of their players are on PlayStation platforms. Of course, PlayStation's had a lot of exclusive content go to their console, but that is going to stop and it will now go to the other side. So, I mean, I don't know if that's game changer when it comes to that, a new map before the PlayStation users, that kind of stuff, I think is where it's going to go. Maybe even different cosmetics that they'll get beforehand. So I don't think it'll be like game breaking or anything like that. Like Bethesda, all that stuff, how it's only going to be Xbox, at least at this point, exclusive maybe upon launch. There's been no like real games that have come out to show those details, and they're never going to announce like long-term contract like, hey, next year you guys on PlayStation can have it. They're not going to announce that until way after the game has already come out. So
I think
with Activision stuff, I don't know, at least for several years it'll be on multi-platform. There's contracts to be upheld and they're not going to break that.
I don't think you'll.
Yeah, Dave, go ahead. What do you think?
I don't think you'll see any change until the next generation, PlayStation 6 and Xbox, whatever they call it. But basically right now everything's either in development or it isn't, and that's how they make the money. I mean, so they're not gonna want to cut off 50% of prospective players from any one of the games. And if anything, game development's become more of a open shop. I mean, look at the number of PlayStation exclusives that are available on PC, and
I'm
glad Sony started
PC's
doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, so the consoles and the PC are so close together. It's kind of like, if it costs you $100,000 or $1 million to transfer it to PC, but you can make $5 million in sales, then why wouldn't you? I mean, Microsoft's in it for the rest, in the same way as the rest of us. I just think it's really sad because I feel like, okay, we're just going to end up with Sony Studios, Microsoft Studios, and
indies,
like a bunch of indies that.
No, you got Ubisoft. You got Ubisoft. You got EA. You got Riot. You still got
indies that can't really compete. But I mean, well, we would, a month ago, we wouldn't have expected Activision
Square
to be
Enix.
sold to like a big console developer.
Square Enix isn't owned by anyone.
That's what I'm saying. Square Enix is still solo. Capcom's still solo.
So
Deep Silver is still solo.
But
the
for
main
$60 billion,
Jared.
dollars. Do you think any of those guys would be independent?
No, exactly. No. But no one wants them. Hold on. So it's my turn. I want to talk a little bit about this. A little bit, because I have lots of thoughts. I have lots of thoughts. So, where do I even fucking start? No,
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero. No, you're 100% right. I think Microsoft mines that old Activision licensed library. There are some ancient fucking awesome games that we haven't seen in a fucking trillion years because of Bobby Kotikovich, bitch, who has no interest in making those games. And that I think Microsoft will say, like, hey, we can make these and we'll give these to our smaller studios to make, which is cool.
But Guitar Hero has the problem that you have to pay for the licensed music.
I'm not talking about Guitar Hero. Yeah,
any music game.
Yeah,
Guitar
Hero wants plastic guitars.
Any music game.
Yes, 100%. But I'm talking about there are so many games in the Activision library that is like we could get an actual new like Tony Hawk. That's like a small
Marvel Alliance or something.
Anything.
Yeah, but did you see what they did to the last Tony Hawk?
Let's not talk about that right now. Just
anyway,
bring it down. Okay. Next. What was my next? Oh, man, guys, you're making me screw my thought. So, I do think Microsoft will adhere to their current contracts, but that'll end. Warzone, the free-to-play Battle Royale, will continue to be multi-console, but I think in this generation, any new Call of Duty will be exclusive to PC and Xbox. Now, saying that, before that happens, behind the scenes, Xbox will leverage PlayStation saying, hey, we're going to take this away from you guys, but we'll leverage Call of Duty for us, allowing us to put Game Pass on PlayStation. That's what happens. I believe that is a conversation that happens. I believe, hey,
yeah, totally.
We would like to continue our partnership with you. What that means is we put Game Pass on a PlayStation, so you can keep selling PlayStations, but we want Game Pass on your system so they can play Call of Duty. I think that is something that happens because I think having Game Pass on a PlayStation is more important to Microsoft than actually having Call of Duty.
I totally agree with you, Ian. I hadn't thought of that, but
So that's the leveraging of a franchise, a massive franchise, for their future.
Microsoft realizes the money is in software. They always have.
Microsoft has no interest in really making Xboxes right now.
Yeah,
Jared's buying a cheap one, Xbox Series X. Congratulations to play.
No, I'm buying the Series S.
Series S. Yeah. But he's doing it to play Game Pass because Game Pass is awesome.
Yeah, it's the greatest deal in gaming ever. I mean,
and
Sony has no. You can sell the software indefinitely.
Sony has no problem putting video apps from different studios because they're Sony. They have Sony studios, but they have no problem putting Warner Brothers, HBO Max, or Hulu. All these other studios that aren't their studios.
Yeah.
Will they be willing?
From allowing another storefront.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of a storefront because you're buying.
You're allowing another storefront.
You're not buying it on PlayStation, but you are paying for Netflix. Not through Sony. It is.
Well, let's pass the popcorn because that sounds kind of like the
exactly.
Part of that $10 is
Apple deal.
I get it. But I think that's a conversation that happens. I don't know if it goes down.
Oh, it would totally happen, but I don't know if it goes down specifically.
I don't know if it goes down, but I think if it doesn't go down, you lose Call of Duty normal game
for Warzone
on PlayStation. But I think you keep Warzone, the free-to-play battle royale, forever. It's
kind of one of those Mexican standoff. It's like the first one to twitch on the gun, and
you just don't get the new gun updates all the time because
Ian, who loses on that? The consumer.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
why. The consumer.
Yes.
It's the gamers. It's us. Yeah. We all lose when they play these kind of. Look how long it's took them to get cross-play to work. And and it's like bullshit. No, cross-play you have a server. The server is the same for the Xbox. The server is the same for the PlayStation. You just couldn't make them work together because you didn't want to make it work together.
But I will say overall, as many people as feeling kind of like this is an aggressive, it is a very aggressive buyout.
Mm-hmm.
It's very crazy aggressive. I do think overall, though, even though it seems like it's like a dark time I think it's a good thing for the gaming society. I think we're going to get rid of the old guard, and I do think Microsoft is a more positive like company from the top down, and I do think hopefully that will influence Activision Blizzard. I do think Microsoft Phil Spencer is a way more positive and front-running CEO. I do think he's more forward-thinking. I do think he's more into video games. Bobby Kotick didn't give two shits about video games. He only cared about making money, and he didn't care.
He's done lots of that.
He didn't care about who he ran over or fucked or destroyed. And I do think Microsoft, under Phil Spencer's control.
Yeah, I was going to say right now, but
under Phil, as long as Phil Spencer's in control of that, like he's going to be, I do. I'm not a huge Xbox guy, but I love Game Pass, and I've never been a huge, but I do trust Phil Spencer. I do think that this is, even though it's a crazy aggressive buyout and it seems dark, I do think it's a better thing for the gaming community right now.
But I always have lingering in the top of my head, just, a handful of years ago when Microsoft was just closing every other studio they had.
Yeah, and then Phil came
super consolidating.
But then Phil came in.
It can easily go back to that.
But then Phil came in, and then they've been buying everybody. And they've been trying to make games, and they've been trying to do all this thing. And I think Game Pass has proven to be this special thing. And I think if they can leverage Blizzard, even if they can leverage Blizzard games, all this shit, come on, Sony, you want to have Diablo 4 on the PS4. This is how we are going to give it to you.
I think that the decision they're going to make, specifically Sony, is they're going to say no, and they're going to allow you to download PS3 games on your PS4 finally.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a rumor. Yeah.
They're going to do that, and they're going to make PS2 and PS1 games part of PlayStation Now.
If we're throwing crazy shit out there,
yeah,
I think Google gets rid of Stadia and Sony buys it because they need a better back end for their streaming content. Because Stadia is dead, but the infrastructure of Stadia is really strong. But
because it's owned by Google.
Yeah, but Google doesn't care about it. But Sony can take it over and have
repurpose that. Yeah.
Have a better back end than PlayStation Now, because they need a better back end than what they have right now. Anyway, that's a way.
Server infrastructure is a hard thing because I see that just going to bid, and every MMO in the world just going, we're gonna buy as many servers as we can.
This whole discussion makes me sad because it's like, I can sum it up in a couple of words, which is, welcome to our new corporate overlords.
Dave likes buying his.
It really is. I mean, it really is. I look at the games.
Dave likes buying his DRM physically. I don't really care about buying it digitally, but he likes buying his DRM physically. So.
But I look at some of the games that have the biggest effect on me, and like growing up, and they were made by like 10 people.
Yeah, but you look at Steam, that is a library of that old shit, and you can buy it for like $1.99 and play it. So it's still around.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's not still around. It's just like, man, now it's just, I'm not a Sony fanboy. I'm not a Microsoft fanboy. It's like cinema.
He's a milkman.
I'm not set on a studio. I like a good movie. I don't care that it comes from studio this, studio that, and I can wave my arms around all day long. But yeah, I just want a good movie. I don't want you to interfere with the fact that this good movie is not available on my platform, because that kind of shit annoys the snot out of me.
Right.
Yeah.
But
you know what? We're going to move on to the next segment here. Before we do, I forgot to say something. I want to apologize for last week's show where I was incredibly drunk.
Did you listen back to it?
That was fun. You should listen to it, Ian.
Oh, I did listen to
what
it.
Did you been
Oh, I did listen to it. And while I said where we were trying to get ladies on the show, we were trying to get a woman on the show, and she's still going to come be on the show. She just can't right now. I feel very awful about just making it sound perverted. And then I feel bad for Stray Cats because I shouldn't have called it the pussy game. That is awful. Stray Cats, I am looking forward to your game. I'm looking forward to Jared playing your game.
I thought you were
I was interested.
Last week I listened to several podcasts and it was on multiple people's top 5
that's
list
fine.
for what they're
100%
motivated
fine.
to play.
I just when I was listening to the episode, those were the two things I felt like when I was just incredibly drunk anyway.
Yeah.
But
Tony Death loved it.
Yeah, he did.
Now it was like Ian at his best.
Yeah, there were two
and
things.
Me calling out your shit.
I feel like there were two things I went
that.
a little too overboard with, and that was like the two things. And it's like I'm just like I'm not apologizing for offending anyone because I don't really give a shit about offending anyone. But I just like, hey, I'm not a complete dick.
Good for you for owning up, and good for you for keeping the episode up on the airwaves.
Yeah. Keep it real.
It was a fun episode.
It's time for the beat. Yeah, it was a great episode. Actually, it's time for the beat list.
All right.
Quentin, did you beat anything this past week?
I don't normally beat things often. I am working on Yokai Watch 4, which I can talk about, but I didn't beat it.
Okay, so you didn't talk. Jared, did you beat anything this week?
Not this week, but I don't remember if I mentioned beating Guardians of the Galaxy.
You didn't? No, that's new.
Yeah, I beat that. So
and you know what? You haven't actually talked about it at all, really. Talk about it a little bit.
I have not. Everybody else has talked about it, and many people have played it on this podcast. Aaron's currently playing it, last I looked. And the game is about what everybody has talked about. It's actually really good. The writing's really well done. The gameplay is very fun. It didn't get boring for me. Some people say it gets kind of boring. I really enjoyed it. Though I underutilized Star-Lord. I was mostly concentrating on like the special skills of the other characters and always forgot that I had special skills to use.
Right.
Because you have to click hold the shoulder button and then click L3 in. And I never thought to do that. It's always just a secondhand thought. Like, oops, I accidentally clicked that. Oh, shit, I'm doing something awesome. But I loved all the set pieces. It just reminds me of a lot of Mass Effect, like what it could still be, if it was Mass Effect, because your choices will actually change certain parts of the game. There's one part I effed up, and whoever went away. I don't want to spoil who did, but they didn't help me in the end. So I mean that kind of choice in the game, if you do the conversation choices incorrectly, it will definitely change how your story plays out.
Like Mass Effect, if it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, Mass Effect 3, if people didn't bitch about it.
Oh, there you go.
I think that's kind of where we could take that.
Yeah,
It's what Mass Effect 3 people wanted it to be, is kind of where that went, I think. So, Guardians of the Galaxy is really awesome. Dave, I have the disc. You can borrow it.
Dave, have you beaten anything lately?
Yeah, since I've been on the show, I beat a certain little game called Last of Us 2. I was so positive about it. I don't even think I posted it on the web group.
You didn't.
What an absolute overlong movie of a game. Gameplay wise, it was fantastic.
Yeah, they changed enough of it where it was a lot more fun than the first one.
It's really fun. Like, you enter an area, and there's people around and zombies around, and you've got to figure out how to get through the area. That's great. Flashbacks to the museum that take an hour. Oh my fucking Lord. I could have done without that.
I love the story bit.
It was like, oh God. Story? That wasn't story. That was bullshit. I mean, it was just
world
like
building. Come on.
that wasn't world building. That was bullshit. That was just overwrought shit. It should have been a 5-minute cutscene.
Oh.
I mean, it was just oh god, that thing went on forever and ever and ever. It was not.
You have no emotions, Dave. You have no feeling for the art of the game.
Well, let's make a 2-hour movie, but we'll include all the stuff we left on the cutting room floor, and so it's now a 10-hour movie. That game should not have been a 26-hour or whatever it was game. It should have, like, the first one was 8 hours. It was tight. It had a story and it was good, and the story wasn't bad. I'm not like complaining about the story. It was just, man, that thing. Okay, so there were 2 parts, so maybe it should have been 16 hours at most. But the flashbacks, and I have a new favorite hatred in games, and that is riding on fucking horses. They should get rid of that. I've been playing Far Cry 6.
Fuck you, Red Dead Redemption. Fuck you.
Fuck that shit. Last of Us 2.
Tier 3 has the worst horse.
Shit. Horses. Get rid of the fucking horses. I'm sick of them in video games. It's like, oh man, I need to not get somewhere by horse. I am so tired of horses in video games.
Don't you want to pet them and feed them though?
I want to shoot them with a machine gun,
make
and
them into dog food,
like cattle, and then
feed them to my dog.
You just wanted to stop at the
barbecue and eat them.
You just wanted to stop at the farm scene so you could take care of the horses and, get the hay and all that stuff, right? Do your crops. You want to do that,
Tickle
right?
the balls.
Is that the mini game you're hoping to find?
Stroke the shaft.
Okay, we should stop eating this dead horse.
Stop eating this dead horse.
No, bad story.
Poor Dave. He's like completely offended by Last of Us 2. It's kind of funny.
Last of Us 2. No, it wasn't a bad story. The last third or whatever that was, where after,
what is it? An 8 or a 7? A 6 or a 5?
So you played the first lady, you played the second lady, and it's like, okay,
I'm playing all the ladies.
You decided not to kill each other. Let's just quit there. That would be good. No, you have to have a third act. Well, bullshit to that. And it was
wasn't it already the third act though at that point?
I will give it gameplay wise 9 out of 10. It was polished. The graphics were great. The mechanics were great.
9 out of 10.
Great.
Right.
Story wise, I would give it. Oh, not story. Yeah, like fluff kind of crapola wise, 4 out of 10. So my overall review would be a 6 out of 10. I would not like. It's.
Would you recommend this game, Dave?
No.
No.
If you played the first one, you've got all the mechanics you need. Just don't waste. That's 20 hours of your life you're never going to get back.
But if you appreciate story and character building and conversations and stuff like that, if that's your thing.
No,
it's
if
fine,
if you appreciate watching paint dry, then maybe. But
so you're complaining about like the elongated points where there's nothing happening.
So Quentin, Jared loves both these games. He loves both of them.
Like 2 hours in the aquarium. I didn't need to spend 2 hours in that fucking aquarium. Get rid of that shit. That's crap. I didn't shoot anyone. I didn't learn much. It was bullshit. Like, get rid of that shit. How many times did I go through the hospital? Get rid of that bullshit. It's like I'm not even chopping the axe here. I'm just like, we could cut that game down like at least 3 or 4 hours, just getting rid of some of that crap.
I don't know if I spent as much time with the game as you did, because I might have enjoyed my experience a little more because I had it on the easiest difficulty. So I just kind of glided through.
That's the problem. These bits aren't hard. These bits are bullshit. Get them out. Get them out. They could have been done in a 5-minute cut sheet.
No, Jared, you don't understand. It doesn't matter the difficulty. They're just bullshit pieces.
Yeah, the issue. The issue with the game, this is sort of like, for me, it's like how I felt with God of War. It's just I just want to play more of the game, and I get stopped by all the cinematic bullshit. Just like, let me play a game.
Yeah,
let me
like
play
I
a game.
spent that whole time in the village with people fighting and they just dance and all the rest of it. It's like bullshit. Get that out of the way. It's like I want to be out there and I want to have a clear quest, and there was no clear quest, and it's like, no, that game was a lot of what's wrong with modern gaming.
So good.
Well, it's funny because I bought that game a long time ago, and it took me probably 6 months to a year before I decided to sit down and play it. And it took me a while to get into before I jumped in and
It took me 6 hours before I was like, I'm actually thinking I'm gonna quit this because this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then you stuck with it.
And I stuck with it, and to be quite honest, I'm 50-50 on whether I should have done.
I'm currently having one of those situations right now.
I feel kind of the same about Far Cry. So
all right. Hold on. Okay,
I feel that Ian's gonna feel the same about The Last of Us 2 if he borrows it.
I'm never gonna play it. Hold on a second. So we're in the beat list. We're beating games.
All right, you got some stuff.
I beat 2 games. Technically, really only 1 game. The second game is gonna feed into Quentin, so I'll.
Oh yeah.
So the first game I actually beat, and I'm gonna platinum here shortly, hopefully, is the PlayStation Plus game this month, Dirt 5.
Oh, okay.
I beat that game. I did not think I was going to like it because I've never been a big fan. I mean, I've played the other Dirt games, but now I've been a big fan. But this Dirt game is way more like Wreckfest and just kind of crazy, I mean, the series has always been arcadey, but I feel like this is the most arcadey it's ever been. And it was super easy. Not super easy. I mean, it's super easy. You can just put it on super easy difficulty. But it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing it, and I just got sucked into it. And when I beat it, it's like, could I platinum this game? So I look into the trophies, like, I think this is going to be my first platinum of the year. Yeah, really enjoyed it, having a good time. There's some fun cars, and I recommend. It was a good PlayStation Plus freebie. Dave, if you liked Wreckfest, I think you would dig this game.
I have it on my system. I haven't played any of the January.
It's not
PlayStation Plus games yet.
It's not as aggressively like derby-ish like Wreckfest, but I feel like the gameplay itself is similar.
Wreckfest for that. It was I was always playing racing, and if you knock someone off, great. But
it's similar. And then honestly, so I posted it in the 2022 beatdown. I was streaming a game and I rolled credits. Honestly, I think I've rolled the credits before because I think it rolls credits every time you beat a game in a mode. And I'm pretty sure that was what Quentin was gonna say.
Yes. But I was about to call you out because there's so much stuff to unlock in that game.
So, but I just but after the 100th time you've done it, I feel like this is pretty much what the game is, and it's not going to change after this. So I'm talking about Gundam Versus, and I was playing it on stream. I rolled credits again, even though I was drunk that night, and I just was being kind of dumb, and I was like, I'm going to add it to the beat list. And I added it to the beat list. But I've beaten this game in this... It's... Quentin, tell me about this game. I mean, I've played this game. I've probably put like 10, 15 hours into this game.
It is the 5th game in a long-running series of Gundam multiplayer 2-on-2 arcade games similar to Sega's Virtual On.
But there's like 100 Gundams.
Yes.
So like you pick one in the hopes and making it better, but like it doesn't. The game, that character gets better, but the game itself is just the game.
Well, yeah, no, it's a 2-on-2 cooperative deathmatch, essentially, with Gundam and pilots from everywhere in the series.
I find it fascinating. It's so much fun to upgrade your Gundam. And I've so Quentin, I don't really know much about the Gundams. I know Gundam is a thing. I know you build models. I did research.
It is a world.
I did research at a certain point. So the Gundam I have focused on is the unicorn one.
Oh my god, no!
That is my kind of my go-to one, and he's awesome. I don't know what the show. I don't know what the Unicorn Gundam show is like, but
it's a nice looking frame.
He's a badass.
Yeah, Brugger Lynx.
Yes,
yeah, he's pretty cool. Gundam Unicorn specifically as like a show is the culmination of everything from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like all those arcs that were all in one universe, all matter in Unicorn.
So real quick, you say it's 2 versus 2. Were you playing with AI against AI, or
no?
I'm
playing. I've only been playing 1v1.
Oh, okay. Is it online though?
There is online stuff. You can just play against the computer though, but there is.
It's an arcade game. It's a port from the arcades.
I have played against.
I'm curious if the online is still active.
No,
like,
you can play. No, you can play against other players. I've played against other players.
So people are still playing that. That's cool.
Well, Japanese players. Yes.
Yeah, and this is just one version. There's a new version that's out on consoles currently called Gundam Extreme vs. Maxi Boost On. And that game has, instead of 180. It is currently the first, it's like the active one if you want to play a 2-on-2 Gundam versus game right now. And it's also fantastic. It's the one game that I probably get PS Plus for, because I would actually play that online all day.
But you've played Gundam Versus, obviously?
Yeah.
And what do you think of that game?
It's really fun. I love the selections because there are things that should be there that aren't there that I'm glad aren't there.
Okay, so tell me one thing about the game. So we're moving on from the beat list onto gameplay, because here's the thing about the game. Like, you pick a frame, you fuck with it for a bit.
In certain modes.
Yeah, you play with it, you level it up a bit.
Which does not change any stats. It's leveling as a system in Gundam Versus just unlocks things.
Right. But then you just get tired of it and you want to move on to something else. And you can move on to something else. You play I have a bunch of frames I mean, Unicorn is one of the frames, but there's a bunch of other frames I play with that I enjoy playing with. But I just I like how Unicorn performs in battle. Because I feel like gameplay itself, while fun, is still kind of clunky.
Have you gotten into canceling and step cancels? And there's a lot of tech.
There's a lot of things going on, but I still feel like it's just it's not the most fluid game, in my opinion. Like, it's not, apparently fluid. Like, I feel like it's a little clunky.
It's got to be more fluid than Armored Core kind of stuff.
Oh,
that's a totally different game.
Yeah,
that's more of a mech. That's way more.
Heavy mech.
That's way more. That's way more of a Hawken mech game.
The closest Gundam, I could compare this to
Gundam is like a fighting game, but slightly not.
It's like a Virtual On.
Yeah, it's
if you've ever played Virtual On.
I have played.
I played Virtual On. I'm trying to think of the last mech game I played.
It's more simplistic. It's way more simplistic. Well,
there's boost dives and which are similar to defense dive cancels.
But it's way quicker. What is the game you just mentioned, Jared?
The
Armored Core.
Oh no.
Oh no, but I'm just saying Armored Core is way more
very slow.
Like if it was realistic mechs.
Yeah, it's way more. It's that's way more of a different game.
Gundam Versus and Maxi Boost in general are trying to be very quick arcade.
It's games. Gran Turismo versus Forza Horizon. One's an arcade, one's a simulator, kind of, almost, kind of a. That's kind of the That's not the perfect designation, but that's kind of what I would say. Armored Core is a little more simulator. Gundam is way more arcadey. It's 100%. That's a arcade. That's an arcade fucking game. but I enjoy it. But like, there's so many. I don't know what the point of it is. Because like you fight, win, scroll credits,
unlock.
Isn't it just a
do you just
Gundam
move on?
version of a fighting game?
Do you just move on to another? Like, there's nothing more than you just move on to another Gundam.
Let me ask you this: when you play Mortal Kombat, when you're tired of playing Liu Kang, do you go and play something else?
Right, but the credits don't roll. And I guess I was hoping for more of a story. There was never more of it. It just kind of is what it is. And
it's a fan service game.
Yes,
through and through.
But it's a massive fan service game because there are so many Gundams, dude.
Yeah,
there are that alone is crazy.
Just seeing like the Gundam ground type from 08th MS team.
So when the other one, the Maxi Boost VO 20,000 40 50 million, that also has a massive amount of Gundams, I'm imagining.
180 in the one that's currently on.
180 characters.
Right now on the current arcade version, there's up to 200.
Oh my god!
And they're still updating the game.
How many? Huh? How did they get that many Gundams out the original TV series?
These are not all the originals. This is we're at this point. I think the latest character was from Gundam Build Try.
The fan service is ridiculous, and the knowledge and like when you select one and it tells you, but it's just like, wow, that's super cool. And like some of them, I look at and be like, I'll never play you. You look like a fucking turtle. And then other ones you look at and it's like, man, you are a fucking badass, and I want to play you. It's just like, it's fun. It's like there's something, I don't know what it is about it. I find it. I bought Gundam Versus for like $9.99 on PSN on a sale, Japanese like sale, and I was just like, oh, none of you guys are ever gonna play this game, but I'll play it, and I'll just like, and I've spent like 10, maybe not quite 20, but I've spent a lot of time, and so what's funny is I've rolled the credits like 100 times, like playing this game. So like the other night when I rolled credits on Twitch, I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna finally post this on. Like, I mean, like this is all the game is. I've basically whatever. Whatever. So
the last mech game I played was
Hawken.
That weird Hideo Kojima one, Zone of the Enders.
Oh, Zone of Enders.
Oh yeah,
that's a great game. That's a great game.
You could compare like Gundam Versus and the Maxi Boost games to like a virtual on cross Zone of the Enders in terms of
that's kind of what I'm envisioning. Yeah, because
Zone of Enders has more of a complete story though.
Yeah, it has a story. Yes.
Whereas
I would love to see a new.
Well, this is trying more to be like a competitive arcade.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, that is one of the games I've been playing. Dave, have you been playing video games?
I may have been playing some video games.
You may have.
Right.
I have been. So I've been fighting with my PlayStation 5 controller. I've got some drift issues on it, and every time it gets
he's got a lemon, boys.
It gets me to that point where I'm like, oh, I should send this back. They go away. It's really annoying. It was really obnoxious when I was playing Cyberpunk, but anyway.
It really sucks when you're playing Rocket League because you can't fucking score when you should be.
That's by the by. Anyway, Ian just informed me you can actually sync a PlayStation 4 controller to it.
Yes. And play
so
PS4
I am just going
games.
to get off my arse tomorrow and I'm going to send it back in and get it repaired. But I have been playing Deathloop, and so far I like it. It's kind of that multiplayer. It's like multiplayer in single player. It's, you play the same map multiple times, but it's It's a little different each time because of the time of day and what you're trying to achieve on the map. So it's kind of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. I just haven't played it as much as I want to because of the controller issue. And
I would like to point out, if you do sync your PS4 controller and send your PS5 controller away, you'll be locked into just doing PS4 games.
Oh,
because you can't use DualShock controllers on PS5 games.
Sorry, I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So send it in and just expect to play a lot of Rocket League or something.
Only play Rocket League
because of the haptic.
Yeah, all that stuff.
It's like that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's obnoxious. It is.
Anyway,
Dave, tell us about
the second one.
Tell us about how awesome Far Cry 6 is.
Oh man, Far Cry 6.
Which one is that?
It is another Far Cry.
Is that the one with the where you kill the church people?
That's the 6th Far Cry game.
That's 5 that you're talking about.
Honestly, Quentin, you could have said killed church people. You could have said killed whatever, and it's just like what amazes me. Actually, one of the things that really amazes me about that game is it strives so hard to include everyone. Really? So you've got lesbians, you've got you've got trans people, you got all the rest. Whoa!
They don't kill lesbians or trans people in the game, though.
But what gets me is they have a sub game that is cockfighting. So you've got you put your chicken in, and it's like Street Fighter, and the two chickens go at each other with the claws. I'm just like, what?
Michael Vick?
It's so. That just made me laugh in some respects because it's like
Oh my god!
Like,
you like good cockfighting, is what you're saying.
I'm just like they make such an effort to be like, because even the start screen says press X to start in that computer voice, because if you're hard of hearing you need to press X. Fair enough,
Yeah, that's how Riders Republic was. Like Ubisoft is catering to that.
Ubisoft has been really they've obviously been really thoughtful about like not making this game offensive to anyone, and then they've got this whole part of the game which is like
offensive to everyone.
Having animals like cockfighting, which is where you put spurs on a chicken's
classic Ubisoft
thing, and then let them fight it out, and it's just like, it's not to say it isn't fun, but it's just like chalk and cheese.
Very contradicting. Yeah.
Do you fight as the chicken?
Yeah,
or are you betting on the chicken?
You fight it as a chicken.
Yeah, it's like press X, press dodge, and all the rest of it.
Oh, jeez.
So that made me laugh anyway. That was just something that was just like, it's like, okay, so you just
it's at some point Ubisoft is just gonna make one game.
I know.
It's just gonna live forever. Like it's gonna be.
But to be quite honest, I don't really care.
Assassin's Cry.
So there was a couple of missions, and I did them. And then there was this mission where you party on an island, and you had to go collect food for the people, and it was just like, again, it was the same thing I'm talking about with Last of Us 2. It was just like, this doesn't need to exist. This is just bullshit. This is like
fluff.
Game mechanic in fluff. You're just padding out the game here. It's like, it's crap, really. I mean, it's just.
Aren't you tired of playing the same game over and over again? I like with like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was just like, man, this isn't. It's
Dave,
not enough.
And I'm not tired of playing the same game over and over again. I enjoy the mechanics of when you've got a base and you get your binoculars out and you look and you snipe and you decide how you're going to attack the base. It's the excess stuff that they do to pad out the story, like barbecuing for the people, and you've got to go collect like 10 carrots and a rabbit and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it hasn't changed since Far Cry 3.
And it's just like, really, it's like,
I feel like that stuff needs to get better for sure, but I feel like the game itself is the same. It's the same bullshit. Like Far Cry. Like I couldn't stand Far Cry 3. I mean, I don't like that. But like playing that game is just like, this is just stupid shit I'm doing. Like I'm going to shoot a couple things to go collect it for you. It's like and that's a main story quest. Like I just
Yeah,
want...
I know what you mean. The fetch quest stuff, and then the other thing this game has a bit of a problem with is it's just the map is so big.
Oh yeah.
Like traveling anywhere just takes time, and it's just I don't know. I'm just
Well,
kind of
maybe we should stop playing Western games, and we should
Mhm.
talk to Quentin up here. Quentin, what have you been playing? Because I'm pretty sure
Okay.
you have not been collecting bullshit on a giant map. I'm pretty sure you've
Well, I've been playing a bunch of different games this week. From Gundam Versus, which I think at this point
You were actually playing it? Why were you playing it because I was playing it?
No, I was watching Gundam G in Reconquista, and I kind of want to see how the G self plays.
Oh, okay.
And I can't play the G self. And then I stuck in like 30 hours.
30. All right.
I've played about 30 hours in this entire year so far, and it's only January 23rd.
All right. So that's the game. That's one game you've been playing. What else have you been playing?
Well, I said it a little bit earlier that I'm having a bit of a moment of just like, should I keep playing this with Tales of Zestria? That game is okay. I'm a big fan of the Tales series, and
Which is like a JRPG.
It's an action JRPG franchise.
Action JRPG.
Yeah, they've been action JRPG since the start.
Jared, do you know of this series?
I've heard of it and looked at trailers and stuff, but I've never actually played one of the games.
So it's very not helpful.
Each game has different battle systems and stuff like that. That's what they try to make each game unique, right? The different versions of an action battle system.
Okay.
And Zestria was one of their biggest changes to the action battle system yet. And one of the most boring stories I think I have ever played through. To the point where I think I fell asleep at my desk.
Okay.
And
this desk.
This desk right
this
here.
Very spot.
This very spot.
You are sweetly sleeping.
Yeah. I want to beat the game just so I can say I beat the worst Tales of game.
Okay. All right. So
and get it over with out of my life. But it's got an interesting cast, but I think it's one of the fastest moving. It's almost like a wuxia and how it deals with its pacing and power, where you watch a guy go from literally 0 to God in a span of like 5 hours, and that's the first 5 hours of like a 40 to 60 hour game.
I have to ask what wuxia is.
Wuxia is a Chinese genre of literature and like media where you watch. Basically, it's ascending, right? It's
the ascension of someone, yeah.
Like a cultivator, you cultivate into a higher being.
Duh, Jared. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, duh.
Come
on.
It's different.
Jared.
It's not wuxia. I think I used the wrong genres. I think that's zhengxia, and zhengxia is what I'm talking about. Wuxia is martial arts.
Ian, you should have corrected it.
No, wushu is martial arts. I don't know what wushu
No,
is.
wushu is the genre. No, wushu is the genre.
Anyway, so that's
wuxia means
game.
martial heroes.
Okay.
Wuxia means martial heroes. Zhengxia is the godly heroes. But
great game, loves it, but hates how it was drawn out.
Yes. And then I started my first campaign in Battle for Westnoth, which is a free and open source strategy RPG on PC.
Is that
you
for
can play it on
Linux only?
No, you can play it on everything.
Everything is on.
Yep.
Where do you get it? Steam.
You can get it on Steam. You can get it on their website. You can get it on itch.io.
Can we play?
Can
we play together?
A Linux only game.
I don't know if it has multiplayer. Let me look.
Oh.
So that
I'm
was
actually on the website here.
I want to play games with Quentin, but
Westnoth.
Quentin
Westnoth.
hates playing video games with me. So
it's not that I don't hate playing video games with you. It's just like
he has no interest in playing video games with me. So
yeah, there is multiplayer. There is multiplayer.
Oh, okay, what is it called?
Battle for Westnoth.
Battle for Westnoth.
And that's Wesnoth.
Yes.
For those that...
Tell me about it. What is this game?
It's a hexagon-based game.
Yeah. It's a hexagonal-based strategy RPG. Like, the sprites reminded me of Final Fantasy Tactics, and I was on a thread just reading about stuff, and I went, okay, this sounds fun enough to play, so I started playing it, and I didn't play much because I got distracted by Gundam Versus on another screen, but
yeah,
it was good. It was good. I'm probably gonna play a lot more tonight after this podcast, and it keeps getting updates. It's free and open source. It literally costs you nothing to play. It's like 600 megabytes. Where can you go wrong?
When do you get PS Plus so we can play Gundam Versus together?
I literally said if I got Maxi Boost on, I would get PS Plus. So
how much is Maxi Boost on? I haven't even seen that.
$60.
But it's not on PSN right now, right? I can get on.
No, it's on PSN. The Maxi Boost on. Literally open your PS4 or PS5.
Is it right brand new?
I think it was 2018 when it came to consoles. Let me check.
Oh my god. Wait, can we? But Gundam Versus is cheap, and we could play together.
But yeah, no, Battle for Westnoth is interesting.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm way more into the Gundam thing at this point.
Released in July 30th, 2020.
2020, all right.
2020. It was it originally released in arcades in 2016.
I guess I'm waiting for I guess I'm waiting for PSN to like drop it down to in a Japanese sale. One of their racist sales. Sony racist sale. Anyway,
yeah.
Jared. Oh, what, Quentin?
I had one more, and I've been playing through the Yokai Watch. I've been playing through the Yokai Watch 4 more. It's a fantastic action RPG monster collection game. I think the switch from
hold on a second. I think Yokai Watch was a game you brought up last episode or something. Took a look, and I said like suck on my cock.
Yes.
I wanted to apologize to this game franchise. I did not mean to be.
Actually, I think that was Eiyu Densetsu Kuro no Kiseki 2 Crimson Sin.
Whatever game it was, I apologize for alluding to it that it was suck on my cock game. I apologize. I knew there was something else I wanted to apologize for, and that's the game I wanted to apologize for.
I play a lot of Japanese games.
Yes, you do.
What can I say?
Okay, go ahead, Quentin.
Yeah, no, I love how this is an RPG where the challenge is what you engage in. You decide to find your encounter because you have to shine the watch on a monster. The monsters you don't see because you don't see the demons around you. You don't see the things that affect everyday life. So you shine a light on it and you see what's there. And I think that is a really engaging thing for map design because it's an open world game with a time system. So monsters are out at different times and they're in different places and require you to go to different places in the map. And I think it's just really interesting that depending on how you grind, if you even want to grind, you have to engage with the world and its systems for it to come to you. You have to go to it. It never comes to you.
Cool.
There are no random encounters.
Awesome. Jared.
So I seem
what
to
have you been playing?
Into action platforming games a lot lately. I mean, I think that's one of my favorite genres in the last few years, but I have a few games. I'm still playing Rayman Legends. I have the last 100 points to get, and I'll have the platinum.
I was going to say,
I'm almost there. It's like less
yeah.
than 10 days. Less than 10 days, I'll have that. And,
have you been trying for that game longer than you've had children?
No,
I haven't played the game for the whole time.
He had a child, though.
I know you've not played it for the whole time, but didn't you start playing that game before you had children?
No, because he moved to that apartment.
It was one of the first games I bought for the PlayStation 4.
He had it
when it came out.
Oh yeah. So how many years is that?
He used to live next to me.
2013 or
he used
14?
to live next to me, and then he moved to his apartment, and that apartment.
But if it was 2014, you're still looking at 8 years to get that platinum.
But again, I've done it on and off, and now I've been really.
He
into
did
it
stop
because,
for a very long time.
Yeah, very long time, multiple years. But both of my daughters love the game, and we all have a controller, and I can do like the daily regular missions, just not the extreme with them. so we can all like just have controllers and play and do whatever. So we've been playing a lot of that, and I'm almost done. Almost have the platinum. And my daughter was super curious about Rayman Origins because there's a lot of Rayman Origins levels in it. That's the game that came out beforehand, back on PS3 and like Wii U and stuff like that. So I have it on the PC. I bought it for like $6 on Epic, I think is where I bought it. And I bought some pretty like knockoff Xbox controllers, one for me and one for my daughter. There's a pink one and a black one. So we're almost done with Rayman Origins. So we're working on that.
Xbox controllers. Quick review. Would you recommend or?
Yeah, they're cheap. You can tell, you know, the plastic on the edges.
Like
is a
if
little
you got,
rough,
like
so
if
you
you
might want to like sand it down a little bit.
But if you
maybe,
like got some cum in like some of the buttons or something, would they still work?
Oh my god.
I'm not going to answer that, but
if you convince someone racial abuse,
he's not going to answer that. But then
they've been fine. They're like a cheap brand I found on Amazon called Voye. Is V.
I'm not going to answer that. But
they're like $15 a piece.
He'll answer it anyway.
I'm in. I'm not regarding your question as a question, so I'm just saying what I know.
Rayman, let's move on. What next game?
I'm pretty far into Ori and the Will of the Wisp on my Switch.
Yeah.
And I'm also playing Indivisible, which
okay. We're probably gonna have to talk about Indivisible for a moment. So like,
okay.
So like Ori and talk about Ori for a moment if you want to. If not, we can get into Indivisible.
Yeah. I mean, I loved Ori and the Blind Forest. Everything about that game was just fantastic. I love the look of the game, the feel of the game. Everything was just awesome. There's, some kind of like boss fights. I mean, you're a real small character that doesn't really have much for weaponry or anything like that. But there's scenes, at least in the first one, that has like big escape scenes. So like water rushing out of something, you have to escape, and it's super challenging platforming.
This is the second one,
you
right?
You really have to know your game in these games. Like
right, Jared?
The second one.
But this is the second one, right?
It is the second one. So this one, it has the same beautiful look, the amazing music. It has a little more of a story, so the characters are a little more involved. You know, there's like stopping points where you talk to a lot of different characters.
More difficult?
I wouldn't say it's more difficult. It's probably so far I think I've been having a slightly easier time. I think maybe that must have been a complaint.
The first one gets pretty hard.
Yeah, it does. But I don't know. I feel like I'm nearing the end of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I don't think I've had as difficult of a time with this one. But again, like the first one is similar to the second one in the aspect that the checkpoints are very gratuitous. Right. So you make it to a spot where you can set your feet, and that's pretty much a checkpoint.
Gotcha.
But if you're in the air for, 45 seconds at a time, you have to redo that over and over until you get to the next point.
Visually, graphically, do you think it's better? I haven't played the second one. I've only played the first one. So I was just
it is nothing you can judge on the Switch. Graphically, it's on the Switch. I'm not playing. That's probably going to be one of the first games I download when I get my Xbox Series S, because I want to see that on my screen in 4K.
Gotcha.
Because these games, like when I hear people talk about them on different podcasts and stuff like that, it's like the visual fidelity is so cool. Like on the Switch, you're looking in the background, which are super cool, well animated, all that. But on the Switch, they're super gritty and very highly pixelated. Sometimes there might be an animal in the background, but you really can't tell.
I mean, the Switch is an awful platform, but...
Yeah, we were talking about that on Discord earlier, where the Switch is like at least 5-6 year old cell phone processor.
It's like playing a game on an iPhone 4.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's expiring. This thing's old, and it's not it's not holding on, but
and
it's
then
really
10
impressive
don't
that this
give a
game
shit,
actually runs
you know?
on the Switch, because it is still a very highly visual, beautiful game. Like all the stuff in the foreground is wonderful, but once it gets into like really highly animated backgrounds, that's when it really has difficulties. And sometimes there's like little tiny loading skips and like weird graphical load-ins and stuff like that when you're switching from section to section.
But pretty similar to the original game. If you're a fan of the first one,
yes. If you played the first one, you have to play the second one. It's amazing.
all right.
It's just so good. Yeah.
So
highly recommend the series.
I would like to really
I
would really like to dedicate an episode to Indivisible, but I would like to talk about it right now because I think this game. So Quentin had recommended his like number one game of the year for last year was Indivisible, and then I bought it, and I spent 2 hours playing it, and I was blown away, and I somehow got Jared to buy it. Jared has really spent the time. I've put 2 hours in. I feel like Jared has put like all the time.
About 20.
Yeah.
hours.
Oh wow. Okay. Are you done with it yet, or?
I just have to jump up to the last boss, and I have like 7 more of the red things to get before I get the platinum. In the game.
I think the game is everything Quentin said. Like it's like the characters super empowering, the characters are super interesting. The game is super fun to play. The battle mechanic is fucking like nothing like I've ever played before. And personally, I don't know. He's probably played games that are similar.
Yeah, it's not original.
But it's not something. It's original. It's not something I've heard. Jared, having sunk almost 20 hours into the game, what are you thinking about this game?
I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think I mentioned some of the concerns I have with some of the platforming stuff. Like early on, but as most games where you unlock skills as you go, it gets better as you go. Like now you can like do anything pretty much. I have a dash in any direction, which you can use a different dash to go another direction even farther, and then one more dash to get even higher. So I mean you can go really far distances just with your skill set. It kind of reminds me of Guacamelee in that aspect but Guacamelee only gives you a handful of skills, like 3 different skills to master. And this one like triples that. So you have to, like the final climb, you have to remember all of your skills, and
it's also
to
dependent
them really well.
But then it also changes with what party you have, like because like.
Well, in
a
battles,
combat,
I'm just talking about the outside stuff.
Just in
a
all
the outside stuff. But I'm just talking about platforming on the outside of the world at this point. I mean, the battles, if you really wanted, you could dodge and ignore most of the battles. But like most RPGs, that's not a good idea because you need to boost your character's experience up and that kind of stuff. But one thing I really like about it is at least the default setting is that the enemies don't really spawn very fast, if at all, after you've defeated them. So once you've defeated them in the zone that you're currently in, they won't respawn. But you can change that setting to have them respawn more often or just never. I mean, so it has different settings for what you want. And I like that after I've kind of run through a zone and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't need to go this way. And then I run back. I'm not bumping into all these enemies like some games do. So it has a lot of really good quick settings inside of just the base game. Like I haven't changed any of them myself, but like I like how that runs because a lot of games will just a couple minutes later it respawns and it's just BS and you get tired of it and you just end up dodging the enemy.
What do you think of the characters and the lore of the game?
I like the characters and the lore. Like the main character, Ajna, is a super cool character. I like her because she doesn't see her flaws or the problems she's causing in the world. She just has a goal and she set her eyes to it. She's going for it.
I like how the other characters see her kind of as a flaw. or
but
they
she
make
doesn't
fun of
see
her,
it.
but she doesn't see it. I find it very meta or funny, and it's great. I don't know.
But that's where the game gets really interesting, because her character has an understanding with all of that as you progress, and it's really well written. I love the voice actor of Ajna's accent and her voice. Everybody's voice in this game is so good.
Amazing.
Everything is so well recorded. Like, I don't know who the hell this team
100%.
is and where they got these people, but the audio is so good. I love listening. Like most games, I just kind of get tired of listening to the conversation, so I'll just read it and skip through the dialogue. But this one, I'll just sit there and listen to the conversations, because I really enjoy listening to them talk back and forth, and I really impressed with the level of the recording from that studio.
I just feel like this is a game that we need to champion more, because I've never heard about it. Not until really Quentin brought it to our attention. But I feel like it's a game that I've never heard anyone talk about.
There are plenty of flaws. Like, it's an incomplete game. It is.
Oh, totally, 100% incomplete.
There's a lot of stuff they planned on doing, but they had to cancel it. Like, I've been finding like super challenging like platforming areas, and then I go through them. I'm like, oh man, I made it through, and it's an empty room. It's a fucking empty room.
That happens on a couple occasions. There is one secret side quest, and some of those empty rooms are for character side quests.
Yeah, you actually, I've learned that within the last few hours, is you actually need to go into your character's mind where all your characters are being, carried around. Yes, Dave, that sounds weird, but all the characters you meet, they're not following you around. She actually, like, with her itty, whatever that they store in her mind.
She sucks them into her head.
But you go into your head, into that world, and you talk to the characters, and at certain points, you actually get side quests from these characters. Like, they want to go and find their brother, or save this person, or get the skull so you can leave this area with this dude's brother, and that kind of stuff. So, there's side quests that you need to accomplish.
Every character has one, which
there's like 20 characters.
But I was going to say, it sounds better to go into an empty room than some of those stupid stories in Last of Us 2 and Far Cry 6.
All I'm saying is, overall, as a game that I didn't think I would like, and I just fuck it. I went into PSN store. It was on sale for $9.99. I said, fuck it, I'll buy it. And the first time I played it for 2 hours straight. And then I'm gonna keep playing it. So but I wanted to.
I want to see your opinions.
I wanted to. It's gonna be a streaming game for me. I wanted to put it on and I'll stream it. But it was just like, wow, this is way more interesting than I mean, not that Quentin has shit game opinions, but I'm just like, when I said like, what's the battle system like, and he's like, is it turn-based? He's like, no, it's action-based. And it's like, is it action-based really?
No.
But it's not really action. It's a weird kind of, but it's the most interesting kind of action-based. It's like this weird, I don't know how to explain it. I've never played any game like it, but it's different and more engaging than action, like a turn-based game. It makes
you can make it more complex for your likes, or as dumbed down as you want. Like right now, I have it as dumbed down as possible, where I can just kind of mash the buttons and make it happen.
It's just more interesting to me. And then it's interesting that like the boss, if you fight it, if you combo characters, you can combo characters. You can keep fighting the boss as long as you know the cooldowns of your characters in a way. You can keep just kind of, it's interesting to me, and I find that interesting, and and then the whole platforming, and then running around, and the characters, and it's all hand illustrated. It's just a really cool game that I was just like, all right, this game deserves more praise. And it never got any praise. I never heard this game coming out. I remember Skullgirls coming out, but Indivisible? I don't remember Indivisible dropping.
Oh, it got a Kickstarter that raised over, I think it was 700,000 in terms of funding, but it's a game that I personally, since I have played it, haven't heard someone talk about before and since. And the people that I heard talk about it before was the one person who mentioned it to me.
It's a game. It's a game that deserves to be talked about a bit more because it's just kind of unique and positive and interesting and fun. And if you like those type of games, you really should be playing it, in my opinion.
The only reason I haven't picked it up on the Switch, because it goes on sale for like $7 or $8 pretty often, is because whenever I look at the pictures on the Switch, I never watched a trailer or anything like that. It looks like a turn-based RPG, and that's not really what I'm into right now.
But it's
and
not.
It's definitely not a turn-based RPG.
Definitely
it's not at all.
No, it's like Valkyrie Profile meets a fighting game. That's the easiest way I could put it.
Yeah, 100%. But
yeah, I mean, because it does in the battles, it has you like juggle the enemies where you have to knock them in the air and do damage up in the air, that kind of stuff.
Makes you do combos, like do up and down to break the shields, and then
you have to break shields.
It's way different. It's way different. Yeah, I've never played. I haven't played Valkyrie Profiles or any of. I don't know what that's like, but like as a turn-based, it's definitely not a turn-based game.
I feel that it's more manageable than a Valkyrie Profile because it's only like 20 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I almost have the platinum. I have like 7 more of the upgrade materials to get. Yeah.
Have you done all the side quests?
No, I don't think so. You don't have to get the platinums. I haven't done a bunch of that stuff. You get a trophy for doing one of them.
Oh, is
most of the side quests unlock a new mechanic for that character.
But I'm literally one jump away from the last boss.
Okay. Oh, so you're at the one last final dash.
Yeah. I just got my final skill, and I just have to jump and go to the boss.
Let's save most. We should. All the 3 of us should do a indivisible episode. Before we get out of here, though, I mean we've been recording for a while. Dave, let's break it down. Couch co-optionals. Dave, you have anything you want to recommend to the good of the order that is not video game related?
I am so far behind you guys that I just started watching The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
And I'm enjoying it.
I liked that show a lot, yeah.
But
first season sucks, second season's awesome.
In a little more modern, there's a little series on Netflix called Stay Close, which is interesting. It takes a while to get going. I think it's only 8 episodes, but it's kind of a murder mystery whodunit, and it starts off and you just think it's kind of police procedural, and then it just kind of all goes crazy, and I can't really say anything else without spoiling it all, but it doesn't go where you think it's going to go. You think it's just like someone goes missing. The police get involved. They track down who went, who was responsible for them going missing. Case closed.
Gotcha.
It doesn't go that way.
Gotcha.
Okay, interesting. What's it called again?
Stay Close.
Stay close.
Netflix.
Yep, and it's the big statue. It's like a lady's head.
It's a giant cock.
It's a lady's head, and it's white, and it's called the Dream Statue. It's near where I grew up, so
cool.
But it's all filmed around where I grew up, so
that's cool.
It's a cool series.
Quentin, what is your couch co-optional for the week?
All right, so you want to talk about being behind? Let's talk about a sci-fi show from 1993 called Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. I can't believe I wrote this because a 13-year-old was the protagonist.
13-year-old?
So Ewan is so cool.
Aren't you 13 years old?
No, I'm not.
You look 13.
No, I do. But it's probably one of
look at those 13-year-old arms.
It's Tomino at his most ruthless.
I don't know.
Tomino is the writer for the original Gundam series, and he's written a lot of them. And it's always about war, and war is never a kind thing.
Right.
And this is probably Gundam at its most brutal.
Where do we find this?
Where do we find this? Literally nowhere. You're gonna have to torrent it.
Oh Jesus.
Or buy Blu-rays.
All right. Torrent or
Victory
Blu-rays. Victory Gundam. What is
Victory
it?
Gundam. It's interesting. It's
how long is it?
51 episodes.
51 episodes.
Those are 20 minutes apiece.
When
yeah.
you
You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Wait, do you have all the episodes downloaded?
Yeah.
Oh, you should just upload them to a drive and like share them with us.
What? And get in trouble with the government?
No, just like put them on a drive and I'll.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll watch all 100.
I'll watch them, see if they're any good.
The judge.
Victory Gundam. That's Quentin's couch co-optional. Hey, keeping in theme with the Gundam. That's a good job. Good job, Quentin. Way to go. Way to be a bro. Jared. Yeah. Jared. What's your couch co-optional?
I just watched on Disney Plus Encanto, and I really liked it.
Oh, man.
I love Disney movies.
Selling out.
Oh. What? No. Whatever. No, but
yeah, my daughter really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
So.
Yeah, I think that's enough said. It's a Disney movie. You
Disney.
either like Disney movies or you don't.
Disney
Is it a
Plus.
musical?
It's on Disney Plus.
There's some songs, but it's not. They don't force it on you. Really,
there's a lot of music. Dude, some of the music is like super popular right now. Yeah, there's definitely music.
I wouldn't know. I go on YouTube for two things right now, and that's Gundam music.
There's two things like I go on for Gun and I go on for Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Encanto. No, it's popular. There's a lot of music for Encanto. That's also that I just want to say one thing. That film is interesting for one thing. It doesn't have like a traditional villain. It's more about family dynamics. Anyway.
Yeah, the family dynamics are the villain. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's less. Yeah. It's an interesting film. Anyway,
like,
I haven't seen it yet, but that's the
feelings for one another is it's interesting. Yeah, I'm glad it doesn't have a villain.
All right, my number one. You can find it on Apple Plus or in theaters. It is The Tragedy of Macbeth. I watched the new Macbeth film from Joel Cohen.
My wife wants to see that, yes.
It's on Apple Plus right now or in the theaters.
Oh, is it on Apple Plus finally?
Yeah, it's on. No, it's been Apple Plus since January the 20th. Yeah, it was supposed to launch on Apple Plus earlier, but they pushed that date because of the theater. But,
yeah, my wife was trying to. It released in theaters on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it was supposed to be released.
And she was looking to go watch it.
It was supposed to be released earlier, but they pushed it.
There was no theaters available though until like.
Yeah. No, it's on Apple Plus right now. It's been on Apple Plus. Anyway, it is striking. It is visually one of the most crazy films. My problem with it is that Macbeth is the one Shakespeare play that I know the best and I've seen the most. I've seen it. I've actually seen it. I saw a production of it at Clackamas Community College. I read it in high school. I've seen multiple films of it. So like the story itself, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, I know what's going on. But the film keeps you engaged because the film is incredibly striking, and they do incredibly inventive things. And it almost feels like a stage play because it's such of a stark production that it's just Quentin, you'd probably really appreciate it as a theater person. The witches of this film, this is probably the best version of the witches that has ever happened, in my opinion. Because, I mean, the last Macbeth I saw was the Kurtz one in, like, 2018. It was a film. No, I just really... The witches are crazy the way they're done in this film. Denzel Washington is great. I don't think a lot of people are giving him like la 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 awesome. He's good. I don't think he's like the best Macbeth I've ever seen. I think I've seen probably a better Macbeth, but it's cool that he's doing it, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a good. It's a top level performance, but not necessarily the best. Yeah,
it's more the cinematography and the set design. Like I think is if you're a theater person, you really appreciate like how the set, like the way the set is made and how it's shot. It's super cool. That is what this film is about. It's super short. It's like only 140 minutes. Like it's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's it's super short. Like it's like the production of it's impressive. The acting is great for the most part. I think all the acting is great. I think the little character, like the witches, the one person that plays the witch, even though there's 3 witches, I don't want to spoil it too much, but she is the best. And then Ross. So I don't know how familiar you are with Macbeth, but Ross's character is expanded into a villainous character. He is fucking awesome. Then Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand, they're great, but I don't think they're the best Macbeth and Lady Macbeth ever. I think they service the film really well, but I enjoyed it. I think it's awesome. Visually, it's one of the best films I've ever seen. Like it's.
I kind of get what you're saying. It's like it's Macbeth. You know the story. You know the lines. It's all about like how they're delivered and
they don't deliver it. The delivery's weird,
and they like it's
but
all about. Like,
that being said,
the atmosphere.
That being said, Denzel Washington does this scene at the end when he's fighting. He does this sword fight. It is fucking like awesome. So there's some shit that's awesome. Anyway, watch it. Don't watch it. I don't know. I don't know what your Shakespeare level is.
I'll be watching that tomorrow night.
I don't know what your Shakespeare is, but there's some cool shit. I don't know, Jared, if you give a shit. Quentin, I know you're a theater kid. You might dig it.
It sounds interesting. I feel like I dig it.
I think you'd probably dig just the production level of it, even if you don't. I think it's pretty dope. Anyway, check it out.
So I just want to remind people that recently got a PlayStation 5. It may not be noticed, but if you go and get the Apple Plus app in the media section, you'll get 6 months free of Apple Plus from PlayStation.
Yeah, Dave. If you haven't done it yet, you can get that, Dave.
Oh no! When we signed up for it, we changed mobile phone carriers recently. Apple's really pushing that. I mean, they're really.
Oh, you get a new one. You get a full year.
Yeah, they're giving it away like candy right now.
That's cool.
I upgraded my OS and I got a free 6 months Apple Music. Like it was weird.
Yeah, they're really. I don't know if they're feeling the pain from someone or whether they're just trying to push it, but they're really giving away a lot of free 3 months of Apple, and I've seen it on multiple like services that I'm subscribed to.
All right, we're an hour and a half in recording Deepwise, so let's get out of here. I want to thank you all for listening and remind you you can leave feedback. Hey, did you guys know you can leave feedback at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word, no hyphen? You just tell us that we suck. No, you don't want to tell us that we suck?
That we blow.
Tell us how wrong we are about everything.
Or
it feels good.
Just remember to please subscribe, share, and maybe leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Google Music Play, Google Play, whatever that.
You can even leave reviews on
Spotify,
Podcast Addict,
Stitcher, Podcast Addict. We're definitely on there. You could just go to anchor.fm/The Couch Co-op Show, and you could leave us a fucking voicemail, and you could just yell at us. You could just be like, "You guys are fucking wrong." No, you guys are all right, but that fucking Dave guy about Last of Us 2, he is fucking wrong.
We need a drunken recording from Tony Death on there.
Yeah, because I know I'm right, so it's all right.
Yeah, Tony Death. Tony Death don't fucking listen to us. He says he listens to us, but Tony Death don't fucking listen to us. If Tony Death listened to us, he would go to Anchor.
He wouldn't play Destiny.
He would go to Anchor.fm. He would go to Anchor.fm/The Couch Co-op Show. He would, and when you go to that website, there's a button that says message. You press that button, and you could just leave a voice message, and you could say, Ian, I wanna suck your dick. Anyway,
should we blow this popsicle stand before you have anything to apologize for?
I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to thank you for joining me here on the couch. Also, I want to thank these guys for joining me here on the couch. Dave, Quentin, and Jared.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you for joining me on the couch.
Anytime.
For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian. And I want to remind you to please be excellent, to each other. To each other.
Wild Stallions.
Let me play the opening, and then we'll be out of here.
No, I can't wait to see that Macbeth. That'll be... Couch Co-op. Ellen wanted to see it on Christmas Day, but there were no cinemas on this coast showing it for like 2 weeks, even though it was meant to be in theaters.
Yeah. It's a hard close.
I thought that was what the mute button was for.
Ian needs an on-air sign above him.
Yeah, you should just get like a little red light.